I'm so glad to be here. I can tell you that we're on the verge of change in America. And we need a time of courage again. So this presentation is twofold. To tell you a little bit about the history of electric cars, the history of America's courage, and what it means to be responsible for the next generation. So I'm going to start off by saying, could not have been better. I love Nikola Tesla. He was one of my heroes growing up. He was called a mad scientist to me when I was growing up. People told me that he could not be right. Well, when I look back and I look into the past, I see nothing but missteps. Does anybody know how long ago an electric car was created? Anybody got a guess? Try 1827. Okay? The first promotional electric car by Mercedes-Benz had a range of 100 miles. The same equivalent gas car at the time, barely 60. Does anybody know what stopped an electric car? Oil? The electric starter. I will solve the mystery of that shortly. All right, freeing up America to travel, that's what we're all about. For those who don't know, that's what we did in America. We had this event, it seemed to be going backwards, but that's all right. We had the opening up of the trail of the trains that went across America. And this one right here is actually my favorite. The idea of looking out at trees and mountains and looking over this way at my family, and there's a wagon, and saying, I should go that way. Let's do that. Now that's courage. What we today do is, do we get up and do we walk? Do we look at our iPads and do we say, I'll do an email? Do we possibly take a chance of buying an electric car? Well, guys, these guys were full of courage. Okay, then we had the trains. That opened up America. We have a beautiful highway done by Eisenhower. And now we stand on the precipice of making a change and electrifying that highway. When I got involved with this 5 years ago, I decided that there was going to be only one place for charging stations. It wasn't going to be in the cities. It was connecting this great country to set ourselves on a vision, a transportation mecca of the way we were when I was a young child. My mother would grab me by the nape of the neck, put me on the road, and I would see nothing but the back of the chair until she let us out of the Stuckies. All right, so change is inevitable, but progress is optional. Now, the only constant in this world is change, and we've got to stop fighting that. This country was founded on nothing but. How do we change the world to a better place? How do we make this a better place to live? A more free place, a more engaging place? I would say that our progress is in our hands now. This is not a time of fear. Fear is wrong. All right, those are my favorite Stuckies. Does anybody know what Stuckies are? All right, Stuckies was the brilliant idea of a man who said, my children want to see this country. He put up these little buildings, and you'll recognize them. He put them up, and he said to the people, come, see this country. I have a store for you, a place for your kids to be and play, a place to eat. And oh, by the way, there's a couple gas pumps over there to fill up your car. So come see America. But over time, the cost of ownership of cars and the cost of transportation has gone up so much that we drive past these buildings to where this is what we have. How many people see these buildings today and that's what you see? The cost of transportation has gotten out of control. I had a Jag XK8, and I make this joke quite a bit. If it drove past the shop, it cost me $1,000. If it pulled in, it was 5,000. Now, I've had a Tesla for 4 years now. My total ownership cost in that car, including the power to drive it, is now approaching barely $3,000. This is a picture of the first, basically gasoline car. Again, it had 16 liters of fuel on it. It barely made 25 miles an hour, and it barely made 60 miles. Okay? This is a Baker Electric. And for those of you who don't know, Jay Leno owns one of these, and I encourage you to watch the YouTube video on this. It goes about 22 miles an hour, and in New York City, that's pretty fast. And it also has a 100-mile range. Now, I've got a surprise for you at the end, and just be looking for the surprise. Of course, all of you know what this is. There's one sitting out front. This is a Model S. And just so you know, I'm number 22 on the Model X. I figured if I'm going to go from a Roadster that I have to put on, I'm going to get one that I can ride in. Okay? So, these are some of the things that told me what I needed to do before I even began. Does anybody recognize the top one? That's a laser disc. That lasted for barely a year, and then we're into DVDs, okay? Now, the ones over to the right, everybody recognizes those are all the different phone cords, correct? Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret about the other picture with the railroads. I was a young boy, and we were walking through the Appalachian Mountains with our scoutmaster taking us up on the top of the ridges. And he said to us, you know, I am in a position to show you a piece of history. And we passed several railroad tracks, and finally one of us broke down and asked the scoutmaster, why are these closed? Would the trains not come this way anymore? And he turned around and stopped and said, this is the stupidity of America. All of those were different width of tracks. Okay? Currently, we have 3 plugs that need to be supported in the charging station arena. I am the only one that supports all 3. As an electric car, you have a gas station in your home. So why do we need to put so much infrastructure in the cities? You need to be freed up to travel, and that's what this is all about. And the courage that these people are having buying these cars early, this really defines my journey. First, they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. Winning is never an overnight event. Never. But getting to the point where you are, and you've fought the battles, and you've had people shoot at you in the back, and you look at them and you have pity for them because they do not see the future. And to be able to see the future, I would trade for nothing. All right. Now, I guess you're going to have to push the button because it's not working.
Hi, I'm David Cohen, COO of GoE3. I want to take you through a fast trip through time of the electric vehicle solar microgrid revolution. Let's set the time machine back to 1859. Hold on, here we go. Circa 1859, Gaston Plant invents the rechargeable battery, setting the stage for this whole revolution. Circa 1882, Thomas Edison invents the world's first power plant, Pearl Street Station, in the financial district of New York City. Circa 1904, the first electric car is built in the United States. By 1904, 1/3 of New York City, Boston, and Chicago's cars are electric. By 1920, cheap gasoline and ability to travel long distance sends electric vehicles into obscurity, more or less. Wind up to 1954, Bell Labs creates the world's first PV solar cell, a device that converts sunlight into electrical power. Magical, the birth of photovoltaics. Circa 2008, Tesla announces the Roadster, an electric sports car with a range of over 200 miles and 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. 2011, soon after, the Nissan Leaf and the Chevy Volt are announced, electric cars for the masses. Again in 2011, seeing the need for highway-based charging, GoE3 announces plans for route-based EV charging stations across the country so that any EV owner can travel long distances between points of interest like national parks and city-to-city travel. In 2012 following, Tesla announces the National Supercharger Network to charge only Tesla vehicles. 2013, Evolution 7 Labs announces the Power Station Gateway to create the ability for your electric car, your rooftop solar system, and your energy storage system to create your very own power plant. By 2014, it appears that there will eventually be solar everywhere, and in time, electric vehicles everywhere. Where is the missing link? Energy storage to buffer the intermittency of solar. By 2015, today, Tesla announces home batteries. In 2015, GOE3 and Evolution 7 Labs announced the Power Station, technology to enable fast charging solar and energy storage for route-based EV charging solutions. Again, in 2015, GOE3 announces the world's first universal fast charging network. So what happens when you co-locate electric vehicles and charging, homes and buildings, solar, photovoltaics, and energy storage? I call that solar microgrids. What happens? Everyone gets over 100 miles per gallon. You can fuel at home or on the highway, powered by clean and reliable storage and solar. We achieve fuel independence, and we create reliability and security when the power goes out. We still drive and power our homes. Our electric journey is just starting. Thank you.
All right, guys. In the last 15 years, we have taken technology from a chance of possibly making it 200 miles, which, by the way, is bladder range. We have to 2015, and it's estimated by 2030, which is just looking back to Y2K, that we're going to have cars that are under $10,000 that were 200 miles range. Electric cars cost 1/3 that of internal combustion engines to own, operate, and build. Why do we want to keep paying the old ways? All right, electricity, power is everywhere in unlimited quantities. Nikola Tesla, again, was one of the most prolific. To me, he was a better philosopher than he was a inventor. But he had things to say that, as he said the thing, we're still asking the same questions. Why? This is us. We opened up the highway today, guys, and I'm very proud of it. Change is the only constant that we know of. And what we can never change is the memories we develop together. And I mean this with everything that's in me. Being able to make the change with courage and with dignity reminds me of a speech that I saw as a 2-year-old child. And for those of you who know me, I have a video memory. I don't forget. I saw a black and white screen, maybe 12 inches, of a man saying, we choose to go to the moon and do the other things in this decade because they are hard, not because they're easy. And we should be doing that yet again. And I have no idea what happened to that America. We've become afraid, and we become lackadaisical in the way we approach things. We tear each other apart. My God, America was built on great men who came up with ideas that took us to the moon and have taken us to all the places that we've got in front of us. The future is in our hands, and we should do it. This, my friends, is Mrs. Ford charging her electric Model T back in the day. Okay? She did not want a regular car because it almost broke her arm the first time she did it. I alluded to something a little earlier of what it takes to travel on the expressways. I've tested this over 5,000 times. I would say to you that you should do this for yourself. What makes you stop on the expressway? And be honest. It's not gas. It's not food. It's that little thing called bladder. Okay? So we designed our stations to be every 35 to 45 miles and with places that people are already going to where they can support. We are here to develop the community and support the community. I want to bring back the days of cars where people saw, where people traveled, where people met each other, and we connected with each other again. I can tell you that is what Web 3.0 will be. No longer looking at our cell phones to connect, as Prince EA would say. I personally want to make this a journey of learning to see everyone again, learning to connect, walking through this country. I've traveled over 4 times across this country with an electric car behind me in an RV. And I will tell you, it is so open. They all want the cars. I get the same 3 questions. Does it come in a truck? Can I buy it now? And would you please put a charging station near me? And I thankfully can say yes to all 3. Okay? So anytime you hear somebody saying, the naysayers, that we do not build the cars that we want to build, we build the cars that America wants to buy. Call them on it. Say, that is bull. We are a country of advanced people. We are a country of people that will take off through the woods in a wooden wagon. Give us the future, don't give us the past. And with that, I would say thank you very, very much for your attention, and I had a great time being here.